Sup, y'all? This me again, about to do that good juicy shit. Okay, we got a review coming with the battle goods and clips and whoever it is battling. Let you know that next video. This one about Juice World. Okay, our first report is from TMZ, and then we got a few other clips, and then we're gonna go into how the the ladies on the what is that supposed to be, The View or some shit. You know, they change around names and cast so much you can't even tell. Now, the thing with this here, it says that TMZ supposedly got the footage of this at the airport. I believe they might have arrested two niggas because of guns, but I don't believe that those was his drugs. Now, the reason why is because, one, the luggage ain't have no name tags on it. And do they name tag every luggage? Talking to you.
Huh?
I've never been in the airport. Do they I've been in the airport, but not like that.
The tag that they put on there is where it's going?
Mm-hmm. They don't put names?
No, you put your own name on your luggage.
Oh, didn't know that. Okay. But I still don't believe that this is the actual footage, because you know they be lying like a motherfucker. TMZ get they lie on sometimes. Allegedly. So until we find out more information, I do believe that those might have been guns because they were personal. You know, they were on the person, but the drugs, like I said in the earlier videos, he's a pawn for something, and we may never figure out now because he dead. But he probably knew he was going to go to jail. That's why he popped those. If he popped too many and it was an accidental, on purpose overdose, then that's different. But let's get into this footage. And leave your comments at the bottom what y'all think. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get it.
Sydney, Australia, on a private jet. Before they took off, though, we were told that federal agents swarmed the plane. They had drug-sniffing dogs on there. Now, we don't know that anybody was arrested. We know Juice was not arrested, and the plane was eventually allowed to take off, and he was on board. What's unclear right now is if any of the intel they gathered that day on November 18th had anything to do with the fact that federal agents were waiting for him when he landed in Chicago early Sunday morning. As for what happened during that search in Chicago, there are law enforcement sources telling us that people on the plane felt that Juice had popped the pills, those mystery unknown pills, that he had taken them in order to hide them from the federal agents who were searching the plane. The theory is popping all those pills triggered the seizure he had, which turned out to be fatal.
French Montana is back in the Hollywood scene after a really long, lengthy stay in the ICU.
But that was a big scare that she gave her fans. You feeling all right?
So last night he was at Ket. Love that.
And when we're talking about choices, we have to talk about the death of rapper Juice WRLD. He was 21 years old.
Heartbreaking.
He was taking a private jet with his boys, and according to TMZ, the pilot reported to authorities that there were guns on the plane. There was also drugs. And allegedly, Juice WRLD, once they landed, allegedly he took a bunch of Percocet. And they feel that that might be the reason why he had the seizures and passed. First of all, I want to say I looked up this young man, and he had a very promising career. He started off on SoundCloud, then he worked his way up to Interscope Records, getting a deal with them. He had like the number 2 song, which was Lucid Dreams, which is a very wonderful song if you haven't heard it. So he had a very promising career. Journalist Jamil Hill tweeted about Juice WRLD, and she said, at some point there needs to be an industry discussion about the drug culture surrounding these young artists. I'm not talking about weed, but the use of opioids and other drugs that are costing them their lives. The industry is really failing these young people. So what can we learn from his death?
So sad. We can learn that death and addiction does not discriminate.
Mm-hmm.
For anybody who is in a relationship with anybody who is an addict, you know that you're an anon, and it
it affects the rest of your life. And the crazy thing about drugs is, because I know, in my past, I've definitely been introduced to different things. It's not just that first high. Because what happens is drugs give you a rush of dopamine that you naturally already get. God's gift. You get it when you're looking at your child. You get it when you kiss somebody you love. You get it when you're excited about a job. But when you take a drug, it replaces that level of dopamine and it increases you in such an unnatural level
It's artificial.
that you can't replace it. So the brain thinks, oh, you got it. I'm not going to replace anymore. I'm not going to make anymore. So when you come down, it's a spiral of depression and anxiety that then you only can go to that drug to get that same normality or that stability. And that's where addiction starts. So it's really dangerous. Even that first time, man, don't try it. It's not worth it. You don't want to replace the joy that you naturally already have.
Yeah.
It destroys you forever.
You can never replace it. Get back to that. Jeannie, I know that you're so open and honest about your experience. I just want to ask because I had a different experience. I think growing up in the hood and actually having personal connections to people that have been on drugs, seeing people die from being on drugs. Mm-hmm. My mom scared the living daylights out of me to ever touch. Like literally, we grew up in the heroin epidemic in the Lower East Side. Yeah. There were people literally doing the Matrix around the street. Like it was like scary to walk in the streets. And my mom would literally take me and be like, "That's what drugs does. You want to do drugs? That's how you'll end up on the street." So I've even had like anxiety. Like you guys saw, I can't even drink coffee because I get anxiety about if it makes me feel different. I don't want to ever be out of control. But there are other people who don't feel that.
I believe they're glamorizing.
And they're like glorifying it.
But there are people that are fearless that instead.
Okay, now there may be people who don't know what perks are when they say they got perks. That may mean to some people the perks of being a rap star or perks of being a star, not that they're actually talking about Percocet or Percodans. I'm older, and when I was coming up, it was a Percocet and Percodans. It was nothing much because they gave those out quite a bit, but they called them Percocets and they called them Percodans. Now, and they were more for medicinal reasons then, but now they are taking these now as more as pleasure, those type of drugs. They're not taking them for any other reason than to get high off of them. So this is just to kind of those who may say know what they're talking about when they're talking about perks. Not everybody does. Okay, back to this.
Are curious. It's a curiosity. So that I want to ask you.
It has to be better in the other side.
What made you curious to ever want to try drugs?
I love that she put me out there on live TV. But that's my pride. No, that's my pride. No, I definitely experimented. And I know now at 40, looking back, that I had a really dark time in my life when I split from my family and moved out, lived in San Francisco, like every drug you could imagine was there. And honestly, it replaced the joy that I didn't have. So it made me, being high was so much more fun because it felt like, oh, I feel special. I feel like a rock star. I feel loved. You say anything you want to say. You're fearless. And then that crash is what made me realize that it was darker than the pain that I actually had in my life. And that led me to like go, oh shoot, this ain't for me. Like this, because that pit, it's the dark place. It's not a place
you were able to walk away. There are so many people that can never make that change. They can't walk away.
That is so true. It's a hit. Like I said, it doesn't discriminate, but I was able to have the discipline to not get addicted.
Okay, what goes through your mind when you know the consequences of doing something like
scared?
This? Yes, and then you continue.
You mean before I did it, or after?
Before, or even while you're doing it? Because I mean, that's the issue with this whole story. I actually agree with Jamil when she was saying that we have to make sure what we're glorifying nowadays, especially when you have youth like looking up to you, because the reality is money, fame, that doesn't immune you to the consequences of drugs.
Hey Google, How long is my commute?
It should take.
Drugs.
They make it
But
seem like
so
this
I
is
have
just
a
what we
question.
do.
So to finish the question, did you know that while you were doing it?
I was rebellious, so I knew I was doing bad. Like you almost love the fact that you are defying what you're supposed to do. Like you know, when you, I don't know, cross the street between the crosswalk, if you veer off and I have this thing in me where I just always go I'm a little naughty. I like to take the naughty route, but that was dangerous because it actually risked my life.
Yeah.
And so today I still pay consequences for being naughty. I still have to check myself and go, was that really worth it? Or in the moment, how do I turn on that filter to know that put myself in danger or risk situations that
is
win?
real.
And that took maturity, but you shouldn't have to wait till you're a grown woman because you might not get there.
You might not get there. Only 21.
The thing is that we do have a lot of rappers that are actually glorifying it, and I think, you know, if we are going to, because his song Lucid Dreams had nothing to do with drugs, and it was a wonderful song. So I think that record labels should kind of put a ban on, hey, let's stop rapping about drugs and things like that, because the young people are listening to it. That's the
Or
only
to
way.
talk about the reality of it, because rap is, I'm learning on this show, you know,
You actually, it's creative, but also you talk about your life's experiences, your everyday.
I mean, if I'm honest, I don't even be knowing they be rapping about my old ass just like the beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like,
You
wait, what is
listen to the
Percocet?
lyrics.
Yeah.
What is Perc?
Yeah, but you learn. I mean,
I learned about it.
Yeah, when you start hearing
Lean?
like,
I didn't know what that was. I thought it
Sipping
was
on
like
that
this,
syrup.
lean, like that. I didn't know.
but
So
it's scary that like so many of these young people don't know, and yet they want to know. So they go, they research, they find out, they want to
That's
live
it.
what these songs are saying.
that's what I'm saying.
And then they actually go and experience. They're like, oh, everybody's doing this.
so
This is just
my
what.
question is that right?
No,
That's what I'm saying.
no. Okay, it's not right. I don't think legally we can stop people from creatively speaking their minds, right? Because it's freedom of speech.
Yeah, but we don't have
But
to
there's
pay
a
them.
responsibility.
We don't have to pay them. The record labels, they can cut out. It's just like when we were talking about the N-word. If they want to cut out the N-word, they know they don't have to record the N-word. But these record labels give them money to do that. If the record labels, like we have standards on this show. It's
If
certain
record
things we
labels
can
had
say and we
standards and
can't say.
practices and said these are things, but then again, people would say that's an issue because it stops your freedom of speech. My thing
We
is the
stop
moral
our freedom of speech every
responsibility.
day. I can't say,
Or just speak the
hit
truth
the
about
button.
drugs.
Hit the button right
You
now.
will
because I'm about
die.
to say. I'm about to say something.
Sonia's saying, please do not.
Now you see?
No, you can't
You
do
see?
it.
They in my ear, they saying don't say it.
Yeah, we have freedom of speech,
So
but there
just
are
like
rules.
but just like we do it on this show, we can do it with records. That's what I'm saying.
That's actually
That was my point.
you can say anything you want in real life. It doesn't have to be recorded and sold.
That's what I'm saying.
I get that. Again, I just think it's more of a moral
I was
responsibility.
about to say, I feel like if people are doing it, we shouldn't just hide that fact, because how are we going to learn from it? So if you are going to be doing it, you're going to be talking about it, talk about it in a very truthful way.
Yeah.
Say, this
will kill you.
Yeah. You remember that commercial back in the day? This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. And it was a fried egg. It was a fried egg. But let's talk about the reality. So, because I never forgot that analogy. Do you see what I'm saying?
But here's the thing. Like that anymore.
The thing is,
these are artists, and they have the freedom of speech. Here's the thing, though. In reality, it's going to seem cool, and that's a bigger fight to have.
Yeah.
The easy solution that you can have in your very own home is to teach your kids.
Talk about it.
Actually have a relationship with them.
I
Where you
agree.
talk about things like that.
Yep.
When you read a headline that Juice WRLD died, ask your kid. Instead of telling, see what happens, that is one way. But if your kid's like, yo, putting on their headphones, not blocking you out, just be like, what do you think about this situation? Like, did you
No,
read
my
into it?
kids,
Find
my
out.
kids know what eggs look like. So when I go home, this is your brain on drugs.
Whatever works for you,
Talk to your kids.
Absolutely. It works. It works.
Yeah, it absolutely works.
So yeah, we about to go into this other footage here. Here we go.
And guns, that's what was found on board a private plane after a Chicago-born rap star collapsed and died at Midway Airport this weekend. The artist, known as Juice WRLD, was raised in the south suburbs, but found fame through his music. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ben Bradley.
And I'm Lourdes Duarte. WGN's Megan Dwyer is joining us now with the very latest on this case.
Yeah, so as Ben mentioned, Juice WRLD was actually from Homewood. That's where he went to high school. He had a seizure and went into cardiac arrest at the airport. We now know that happened while federal authorities were searching his luggage. In this photo, just released by TMZ, you can see suitcases full of what appears to be drugs on the floor of the airport. Chicago police confirm authorities confiscated 41 vacuum-sealed bags of marijuana, 6 bottles of codeine cough syrup, and 3 guns. I don't need no Molly to be savage. The rising star was on his way home to Chicago Sunday morning to celebrate his birthday. He turned 21 last week. The Chicago rapper known as Juice WRLD was born Jared Higgins.
When he made songs, he'll go out and he'll just put his all in the songs, like his feelings, like whatever he felt right there at the moment.
He attended Homewood Flossmoor High School. Teachers say they remember him as a brilliant and creative student, an extraordinarily talented musician.
Man, he was just a cool dude being himself, man.
Juice WRLD was named top new artist at the Billboard Music Awards in May.
I take prescriptions to make me feel okay. I know it's all in my head.
His music came to be called emo rap because of its intensely personal lyrics that now seem foreboding.
We ain't made it past 21.
In an interview last year, he told the New York Times he was trying to limit his drug use. Sunday morning, police say he was able to be revived with 2 doses of Narcan, but later died at the hospital. The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office conducted an autopsy today, but say they need more time to determine exactly what killed him. Chicago police say 2 men in his security detail were charged with misdemeanor gun possession, but they have since been released from jail. No drug charges have been filed, at least not yet.
And since the medical examiner's report was inconclusive, we now have to wait, how long? A couple weeks
at
for
least.
toxicology and other stuff to see what was in his
Yeah,
system.
they're running at least 4 more extra tests.
Okay.
Juice WRLD is honored during a private funeral 5 days after his death. On Friday afternoon, the rapper's friends and family gathered to say goodbye for the final time. According to TMZ, Juice WRLD's loved ones paid their respects at an open casket funeral. The ceremony was held at a church just south of Chicago, close to where Juice grew up. During the service, his siblings and grandmother gave eulogies. Several friends, rappers, and Interscope record executives attended the service. The rapper's death has greatly impacted the music community. Many stars like Halsey and Offset have expressed their condolences on social media after finding out about his passing. Lil Pump recently announced his plans for sobriety. He wrote on his Instagram story, "No drugs 2019 or 2020. It's over for that." Nicki Minaj used Billboard's Women in Music Awards to pay tribute to Juice and highlight the importance of mental health. The fellow rapper told the crowd, "I just came here tonight to ask people to be a little bit more forgiving and understanding, especially with entertainers. We can't have a bad day." Minaj also expressed how she was inspired by Juice after touring together earlier this year.
We gotta wait for all this buffering time, but that whole Lil Pump situation there, I don't believe them other rappers. They say that every time somebody die. Yo, I'm quitting these perks. I ain't popping no pill. Shut the fuck up. Just like I said in my tribute to Juice, man. Can't stop doing drugs because you died from them. Just gotta slow down. That bullshit be out the window. Now, if it was your homeboy, it's close to you, or your brother or something, then that's different. But just another artist, like, unless you really, like, fuck with them that hard, that don't make no damn sense. Oh, I'm gonna quit. Man, fuck out of here. How many people know people personally that do drugs and they don't quit doing them? These other rappers can miss me with that bullshit.
with more. Good morning, Alex.
Hey, good morning, Robin. This all unfolded at the
No, but it don't make sense on chicken. You can't really taste it. I'm not talking about chicken.
New details now on the sudden death of rapper Juice WRLD. Police saying drugs, guns, and prescription codeine were all found on the 21-year-old's plane just moments before his medical emergency. Alex Perez is at Chicago Midway Airport with more. Good morning, Alex.
Hey, good morning, Robin. This all unfolded at the part of the airport where private planes land. We now know officials were working from a tip when they met the plane.
But I am the better one, I won't let you forget me.
This morning, we're learning more about the night rapper Juice WRLD died just a short time after his private jet landed at Chicago's Midway Airport. We now know investigators working on a tip had actually met the aircraft to search it for firearms. Law enforcement, along with a police dog, discovering in the luggage 6 prescription bottles of suspected liquid codeine, 3 guns, and 41 bags of marijuana reportedly weighing 70 pounds. TMZ obtaining this image of what they claim is the luggage. As investigators searched the plane, the 21-year-old rapper, whose real name was Jared Higgins, began to have a medical emergency, seizures.
Get an ambulance inside the Atlantic Airport. There's got a guy seizuring in here.
According to TMZ, the rapper may have ingested several painkillers in an attempt to hide them from authorities. Authorities telling us they administered 2 doses of Narcan, a drug which can counteract an overdose, before Higgins was rushed from the airport to a hospital where he later died. Now, authorities say there were no name tags on that luggage and drug charges have not been filed in this case. Officials are now conducting further toxicology tests to determine what exactly may have caused the rapper's death. Michael?
All right, thanks so much, Alex.
Still waiting on this buffering time. My phone must have muscles. It's buffed. Goddamn buffering time. Shit. Oh. I'm lying. We wasn't buffering. I was in there making the chicken, y'all. So, we're going to wait for more to come out about this story. This shit is...
You never make me lose.
Huh?
Probably a lot more to the story they don't know.
Yeah, so, my bad. That was one of my other videos I forgot to delete. Sorry about that, y'all. But yeah, we'll probably never know what happened fully because he did. So we'll just wait for more to come out about this story. If nothing comes out, then you know what happens. Well, gotta go. This is your girl, sometimes your boy, Charlotte Carolina. You know my slogan. I'm flexing on these niggas like Hulk Hogan and I'm out this bitch. Huh?